Howdy, howdy, fellow trainers, and welcome back for another visit to the Halzari region on this special holiday episode of the Pokemon Bliss Oblivion Project here at PTE Creative. Now, as you already saw from the thumbnail, I got a special present for you today. We're going to have another eeveelution unveiling right here and now. So, going to this new Pokemon, let's go see the fighting type. That's right, the fighting type eeveelution for Eevee. Let's go. I am proud to bring to you guys today Ninjaon. Ninjaon is the fighting type eeveelution. So this would be the evolution of Eevee that would be to the fighting type. Now, for those that are long-term viewers of the show or long-time channel fans, you'll know that a lot of the themes of the Halzari region are based off of abundance, and it's based off the United States of America. So one of the things that we can do with abundance that could be cool from a design standpoint is getting to have a starter for every type and an eeveelution for every type. And I made a very, very express effort to make sure, specifically with eeveelutions, that I kind of stopped looking at other Fakemon for very long stretches of time. There are a few creators I still watch, and their work is so good that I always think like, I can't get there, but I can always make something unique and fun to give to channel viewers, and I think we've accomplished that here with Ninjaon. And it would be commonly found in the Fighting Forest, where if you're looking back at the history of the channel, we have a Cornier all the way through Fortree Knight. That line of Pokemon are common in the Fighting Forest. This is where you could also possibly find a Ninjaon. Although, just like every other game, it would be extremely difficult to find a full-fledged eeveelution in the wild, no different than anything from a Vaporeon to a Sylveon, because they are such dependent evolutions, and you'll see that in the next slide. So as we go forward to its Pokedex entry, Ninjaon is the ninja Pokemon. You will figure out very, very quickly that eeveelutions generally don't have a super creative, flowery style of naming or nickname. They kind of just get a straightforward one. For instance, Sylveon's is one of the most interesting. It's just the intertwining Pokemon because of its ribbons, but the story gives more to it. So I went simple with the ninja Pokemon. This Pokemon prefers to lie in wait amongst the shadows. Upon deciding to strike, it does so with great speed. So what I loved about this is, in creating Ninjaon and many of the other eeveelutions or any of the other Pokemon, is how can we put a twist on something so it's not so simple? Very often in the past, when I was looking at Fakemon and not creating them for myself, or when I was just first starting and not really figuring it out yet, you see a lot of brawler type eeveelutions, which is nothing wrong with that. They're very cool in their design. But I always want to ask myself, like, what could we do that's different that still conveys what we want? And I was like, okay, fighting warrior, what would be an interesting warrior to go with? And I thought, specifically with the design of an Eevee, the collar and so much of it, it can be concealment. I thought it could be very interesting because usually it's so Pokemon designs go forward. They don't go backward in terms of concealment. So what if, with high friendship, it becomes almost this warrior for you as a Pokemon trainer? So think about that as we go into the ideas of a ninja and its Pokedex entry. So this Pokemon prefers to lie in wait amongst the shadows. Upon deciding to strike, it does so with great speed. So this is incredibly fast Pokemon, and it's meant to be inspired by the idea of a shinobi or a ninja, whichever term you may like to use whatsoever. So ninja is just the more common type of the name, so that's why we went with Ninjaon. And also, a very, very important fact that of all people, because my wife, she's very supportive, but sometimes, I just love going off the handle with telling her creative stuff. Out of nowhere one day she went, "Hey, just remember when you're making eeveelutions, they all start with a different letter." And I was like, "Oh yeah, they really do." So I owe credit to my wife on this. So some of the other ideas, such as Shinobion or something of that nature, which I think sounds really, really cool, doesn't really work with the tradition of Eevee evolutions or eeveelution naming. traditions because they all have their unique letter to go off of. So that's why we went with Ninjaon. Its ability is Scrappy. So what I like about this is its ability allows it to still attack Ghost-type Pokemon with Fighting-type moves and physical moves, which I really, really appreciate. I think it kind of encapsulates that idea of the ninja as the ninja strikes when you're your most vulnerable. They can always find your weakness because they sneak within the shadows, they wait for the proper moment, and then quickly they attack and then they get out. That's always the idea behind a ninja. And I thought it would be a really cool idea to have the ability Scrappy, because even a ghost that should feel most comfortable around a fighting type Pokemon, because most likely it won't be able to be hit and attacked by it on a regular basis, would still be, subject to damage from a fighting type Pokemon, which I thought would be a really interesting and unique idea to play with, hence the reason we gave it the ability Scrappy. Now, the height is 2 foot 11 inches tall, so it's intentionally shorter than any other eeveelutions. Generally speaking, they're all around the 3'3" to 3'6" range. I wanted to go smaller intentionally to make it more of a concealment and more in line with the theming. So that's why we went a little bit shorter. Easier to conceal when you're smaller. Base stat is 525. It matches all the other eeveelutions, generally speaking. HP is 90 because we're going to get a lot of physical attacks. So attack and defense are super high at 110, which is kind of the reverse of Sylveon and the special typings that are really important for the eeveelutions, but its special attack and special defense are down to 65. So again, we're accentuating the stats that go better or more coincide with the idea of the Pokemon and the typing of the Pokemon. So that's why that's done that way. But its speed stat is 85, so it's incredibly fast for even an eeveelution, because the idea is it strikes with speed, and with that speed comes additional power. And the evolution method here is the exact same as a Sylveon, which is it's a high friendship while it knows a fighting type move. So if your Eevee were to learn a fighting type move, which you could easily figure out in game how to make that accessible, even something as like low kick, for example, like a Mankey. I've played a lot of Fire Red lately, so that's in my head when I see fighting type Pokemon a lot. Is even if you could have that or a double slap or something of the nature to give a fighting type move to Eevee with high friendship, it can evolve into Ninjaon and give it a very unique evolution to play with. But that is Ninjaon, the newest eeveelution brought to you by the Helzari region of PT Creative. But I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Ninjaon, and more importantly than anything else, I hope you're enjoying your holiday season, really enjoying yourself, and I hope no matter what, whether it be sad or happy, you find a way to be happy. If someone out there needs to love you, if they don't, I do. Especially, not even just because you watch my videos and support me here, support the channel, support myself and Dylan and all the other guest hosts that we have on the channel for all of our podcasts, simply because you're a good person out there trying to do your best. We need to love each other most. Hence the reason I'm giving you this great eeveelution as a Christmas bonus instead of another Pokemon, because I know the eeveelution ones are quite popular on the channel. So that is why we gave you Ninjaon today. But peace, love, and hugs to you all. Go love yourself, because someone needs to. Who can love you if you can't love yourself? That's the best part about it. Peace, love, and hugs. Happy holidays to you all.